Negotiation involves presenting your issue in the most favorable light possible. Use positive, powerful images of enthusiasm and success. Cite specific individuals and organizations as examples. Association is a superb technique to use when it's a matter of influencing someone who's already leaning in your direction. But what do you do when you suspect that your needs are in conflict with someone else's? When you know that you may have a problem, you have to anticipate the reaction of others to your approach. It's too easy in a situation like this to appear demanding or unreasonable. So how do you promote cooperation and avoid confrontation? Try the salami technique.
By the end of the month, but you must understand that we have time constraints also. You know how happy we are to have you for a customer. It's just that we usually require more notice for an order of this size. I'll do everything I can to make sure that this order is as complete as possible by the end of the month. Thanks. You too. Bye. This is going to be a hard sell. So as you can see, Ken, this is a really important new account. We want to make them happy.
Okay, Fran, I get the picture. And exactly what's it going to take to make them happy?
They need 5,000 BL44s in 3 weeks.
Well, that's no problem. I thought this was going to be hard.
Well, they also need 2,500 SW8s by the 30th.
Well, that's okay. That can be done.
Great. Now, this one is a little tricky. They need 3,000 PK31s by the end of next week.
Oh, boy, that's going to be tough.
I know I'm asking a lot, but can you do it?
Well, it's not impossible. I mean, we can certainly give it our best shot, but that's not all, is it?
There is just one more thing, and I don't think it's a big deal.
Okay, shoot.
500 VF9s, and they don't have to be shipped till the end of the month.
Okay. All right, it's going to take some doing, but I think we can handle it.
Ken, thanks. I owe you one.
As you've just seen, the salami technique involves slicing away at the hole bit by bit until your requirements are met. Imagine Ken's reaction if Fran had simply handed him a type delivery schedule for her entire order. You can use the salami technique to avoid that kind of confrontation. For instance, suppose you want a subordinate to make major changes or corrections in his or her work. Instead of saying up front that the work is seriously flawed, discuss 1 or 2 changes at a time. The technique also works very well when you have to delegate a large amount of work to someone. When you know that you have to ask a lot, it's often better to ask for a little at a time rather than everything at once. Don't ask for more than you can reasonably expect to get. Instead, break up large requests into bite-sized pieces so that they won't seem so formidable or objectionable. Salami neatly solves one type of negotiating problem, but what do you do when you know you're going to have problems if you go it alone? When you need the support of others to make a negotiation a success? When you anticipate this kind of problem arising, plan your strategy in advance. One technique that's tailor-made for this kind of situation is participation.
How long have we got to implement this policy?
We want the company smoke-free in 6 weeks.
Oh, you know, I anticipate a lot of problems with this. It isn't going to be real popular with the smokers around here.
Well, we fully expect a few glitches.
Well, I expect more than a few glitches. I could see losing people over this. At the very least, there's going to be some real morale and attitude problems.
Well, we're all going to have to play this by ear and do what we can to make the transition a smooth one. But if you do run into any serious problems, we'd like to hear about them.
Oh, you'll be the first to know. Look, in the meantime, I think I'll talk to a couple of my people today and, sound them out. Gary, Jackie, I know there have been a lot of rumors going around about a smoking policy. Well, it's true. A smoking policy is going into place in the next 6 weeks.
I knew it. They're not going to let us smoke anymore, are they?
Well, no, it won't be as bad as that. You'll still be able to smoke on your break. It's just that you'll have to go out to a designated area to do it.
I'm not sure how the smokers are going to take that.
Well, that's why I asked you two to come here. You both have great influence with your group. They look up to you. And I'm going to need your help to sell this policy to them.
You don't want much, do you?
And anyway, what can we do?
Well, as I said, they have respect for you two. And they'll listen to you if you're willing to help me convince them that this policy is in their best interests.
Well, you have to convince me first.
I hope to. I mean, that's why you're here. I want to make this transition as smooth as possible for everybody.
So what approach do you want us to take? Do you want us to just smooth, ruffled feathers, or what?
Yes, for starters. But we'd also like you to point out the benefits of a smoke-free workplace. We'll be able to offer a cleaner, safer atmosphere for people to work in. We'll have less friction to deal with between smokers and non-smokers. And besides, we'll save a bundle on insurance and cleaning costs.
I hadn't thought of that. It's sure going to have a lot of positive benefits for the company.
For the company, maybe. But what about us?
George realizes that he needs help implementing the new policy. So he's trying to enlist the support of two popular employees so that he can use the participation technique. Tom Sawyer got his fence painted by using participation. You can use it too. For example, suppose you're trying to sell a new idea to management. Convince other supervisors of the benefits of your plan, and you'll have a strong lobbying group. The participation technique relies on teamwork. If you suspect you're going to need help, be sure to lay the groundwork in advance. By showing others the benefits of your position, you can enlist their aid. The more people you can bring around to your point of view beforehand, the easier your job will be. George has sold Jackie on the idea of participation, but Gary isn't quite convinced. So what can George do now? He can't allow the negotiating process to become stalled by Gary's resistance. The wise negotiator will have anticipated this situation and will be prepared with another technique that may keep things moving. In this case, changing levels. When your approach doesn't seem to be working, you may want to try changing the level of the negotiation. For example, if a personal, involved approach isn't working, you can switch to a lofty, objective, statesman-like attitude. Or if an "I want you to do this" approach meets resistance, you can switch to "we're all in this together." Here's how George does it.
So, Gary, what do you say?
I say I don't like it, and a lot of other people aren't going to like it either.
I'm sure you're right, Gary. And I think we both agree that there's already a certain amount of friction between smokers and non-smokers.
That's putting it mildly.
But this policy's going to put an end to all of that in the long run. What we don't want now are hostilities to arise during the transition. That's why we want to do everything we can to make this thing run smoothly. Now, we've basically got a good working relationship with our group. And none of us want to lose that.
Oh, you're right about that.
Gary, we've got this policy coming. We've got 6 weeks to prepare for it. We're not going to let this one issue ruin it, are we?
No, I guess not.
Can I count on you?
Okay, George. Where do we start?
Because George's first approach, speaking from the company's point of view, didn't work, he changed levels both physically and figuratively. He moved from one side of the desk to the other and approached Gary as one of the group. Levels can change in the other direction, too. The most obvious example is that of an employee promoted to a supervisory position. This is a literal change in levels. Suppose, for example, one of your employees is promoted to become your assistant and has problems with the overfamiliarity of former co-workers. What's needed is a change in viewpoint to match the change in position. Individuals react differently to any given approach. Some respond positively to an appeal to the greater good. Others need a more personal approach. If the viewpoint you've taken isn't working, try another one. Change your physical stance and be prepared to show the benefits of your new position at every level. We've just examined 7 of Gerard Nuremberg's effective negotiating techniques. Any of them can be used alone or adapted to meet your particular situation. They can also be used in combination as the need arises, but an important thing to remember about these techniques is that they work both ways. Anyone can use them. So what do you do when you find someone using an effective negotiating technique on you? You counter with another strategy.
Come on in, Peter. What can I do for you?
Well, Ken, I know our busy season's coming up, but I'm going to need some time off next month.
Oh, what's up? Take a seat, Peter.
Well, my daughter's getting married on the 11th, and I'm going to need a long weekend, you know, rehearsals and all that.
Sure, no problem.
And I'll also need a couple of days the following week. My wife's going in for surgery on the 16th.
Hey, nothing serious, I hope.
No, just minor corrective surgery, but I'll need Thursday and Friday.
Hey, of course, for something like that, you need to take the time off. Look, we'll just work around you for those 2 days.
Well, actually, I was hoping to take the 3 days at the beginning of the week, too. My house needs painting, and the weather's about to turn bad.
Gee, I don't know, Peter.
Well, see, I'm already taking the 2 long weekends, so I thought it would just make it easier if I took it all at once.
Normally I'd agree, but this year, and this time of year, is really bad.
Yeah, I know, but if, I wait too much longer, I won't be able to paint the house.
All right, if you really think you can get it done in 3 days, then I'd rather you take the time now, like at the beginning of next week. Or if you prefer, you could wait until the end of next month when we finish that big project I was telling you about. The weather will still be good then.
Well, it'd be great if I could do it now. That way I could get it over with. Now, thanks, Ken. I appreciate it.
Did you recognize Peter's use of the salami technique and Ken's counter with the crossroads technique? This scene illustrates what successful negotiation is all about, working together to reach a common goal. Now let's review the 7 techniques we've examined today. First, crossroads. Provide alternatives and options. Keep in mind that there are often many possible routes to success. Surprise. Shift your methods or approach. Overcome a preconceived negative attitude and create a more receptive negotiating atmosphere. Fait accompli. Present an accomplished fact or foregone conclusion. Try to convince others that this action is irreversible. Association. Connect with powerful and positive images. Hitch your wagon to a star and associate your idea with success. Salami. Break requests into bite-sized pieces. Slice away at the whole until your requirements are met. Participation. Show others the benefits of your position to enlist their aid. The more support you have, the easier your job will be. Changing levels. If the viewpoint you've taken isn't working, try another one. Remember that individuals react differently to any given approach. These techniques are tools you can use to work with others. But remember, technique alone is not enough. A successful conclusion requires cooperation, not confrontation. Because when a negotiation is successful, everybody wins.